on? Jebb here. It's so good to be back, and we got a great show lined up for you today, don't we? Guys, we are going to be starting today's show by talking about some altcoins. Specifically, we're going to be looking at Litecoin, Algorand, Terra Luna, and a little quick rundown of Solana. Then we're going to be looking at some Bitcoin a little while after that. Then we're going to be looking at some Ethereum, and then we're going to be diving deep into some news. We got a lot to talk about today, and I cannot wait to dive into it. A lot of people are concerned about the drop that we saw on Bitcoin over the last 48 hours. I say don't be scared. This is exactly what we needed to have happen, and Bitcoin right now is actually healthier than it has been in a very long time. We're going to break down what the market is doing right now. So if you want to know where is Bitcoin going over the next 3 to 7 days, you found the right place. I am joined, as always, by TA Tim, who did a fantastic job filling in for me yesterday. How you doing, Tim?
You know, I think it was a passable grade. I don't know if I would give myself an A, but
I'll have some confidence.
I'll give myself a passable grade. You know?
Yeah, come on.
But, you know, great morning so far. Smay and I went and crushed it at the gym this morning, hitting some posterior chain lifts.
Nice.
Now I am ready for some coffee and crypto. Got my, like, almost urine-looking orange drink over
That is
here.
indeed pretty disgusting.
You know
pulling a Bear Grylls over there, Tim?
I'll say it's funny. I have a urine drink too.
I have a rain.
When you have a hard workout,
That's true.
You get
urine drink.
You get the vitamins, baby.
That's kind of nasty.
If you pee it out, you got to get it back in quickly.
That's true. Hey, we are also joined as always by Smay. How you doing, Smay?
Hello, everybody. Like I said, I had the same morning as Tim. I'm drinking the same drink as Tim. This is crazy. It's like we're morphing into each other.
You hit posterior chain. What do you guys do? Do you guys do deadlift or like what are you doing?
Yes.
You did some deadlift?
Yes.
Smay, how much you deadlift now?
I mean, I didn't go for a PR. I was just getting the form down.
Well, what was your what were you working at?
I mean, I don't know.
No, we're doing form.
He's doing form. Just form
Oh, okay.
stuff.
Oh, cool.
Got to move right before you move heavy.
That's
That
right.
is accurate.
That's right.
That is absolutely true. And that's what we teach every single day here. Before you start moving heavy, trying to trade 100 grand, try trading $100, maybe 50 bucks. Try just doing something really small, even paper trading. There's nothing wrong with that. There's absolutely nothing wrong by getting form before you are a functional trader. It is a very good idea to invest heavily in that.
I have something.
Go for it.
I have to shout out the members,
You
guys.
do.
Of course, I have to do this. Guys, I want to shout out Matthew Campbell, Stanley Bukaxis, and
Oh, come on. That is not the right
That's not the
pronunciation.
right way to pronounce it.
Say it again.
Bukasis.
Nope, that's even worse.
It's Bucasas.
Bukakis.
Bukakis.
Isn't it Bukakis?
It's Bukakis.
It's Bukakis.
I've read the name before.
Yes, I've read the name before too.
Bukasas. That's how it says. Anyways,
Maybe someone's
A disservice to our members,
Mike
Smay.
the Humble Swede.
I love that name.
Thank you guys so much. I love you guys. If you guys are interested in the membership program, which by the way, you can claim your perks today, guys.
Claim your
Go
perks today.
to the link below. Thank you.
Yeah, well, guys, if you're enjoying today's show and you are looking forward to today's show, hit that like button. We've already got 1,000 people watching. Really quickly, I'm going to run through a little bit of things that happened yesterday, and we're going to talk a little bit about what's going to happen today. But first, today's show is brought to you, as always, by one of our sponsors, Lux Algo. You're going to see us using this indicator pack during today's stream, and if you find it helpful, you can find a link for it in the description box down below. Get 20% off with coupon code Jebb. We need to talk about a couple of headlines. We're going to dive into these in a little bit. Just kind of want to whet your palate for what we're going to be talking about. Grayscale AUM flips top gold ETF. So as you guys know, Grayscale has a Bitcoin and Ethereum trust, and those trusts just passed over $60 billion in assets under management, which is larger now than the largest gold ETF. That's a pretty big deal, and we're going to talk about why here in a second. We're also going to talk about how U.S. inflation is now the highest it's been in 3 decades, and if it continues at this rate, the U.S. dollar will lose half of its valuation within a decade, which quite frankly I think is generous to the U.S. dollar. And then we're also going to be talking about why Evergrande and some conflicting stories coming out about the Chinese real estate giant may have had something to do with yesterday's crash. We're also going to talk about liquidations. We're going to talk a lot about altcoins. And speaking of altcoins, let's go ahead and jump onto, well, actually, let's take a look here at liquidations, and then we're going to look at that. Let's jump onto my screen.
Oh my gosh.
We're on a website. That was a
juked me
very
out.
smooth transition. Segue,
No,
wasn't it?
you juked me out, dude. I was
know,
like,
I
what?
juked you. You're like, yeah, you don't know what to do. Smay's over here trying to produce. He's like, oh my gosh, what's Jebb doing? Anyway, we're on my screen now, and I want to show you guys a website called CoinGlass.com. CoinGlass.com is a very helpful resource. We're not sponsored by them. I have no affiliation with them. I just find their website to be useful. And this shows you liquidations that occurred in the last hour, 4 hour, 12 hour, 24 hours, etc. And as you can see right here, Over $623 million in liquidations took place over just the last 24 hours. If you scroll down here on this website, set the period to 1 hour, then you can see that there are different candle bars down here that show you liquidations. Yesterday, around 1600 hours, which is 4 o'clock in the afternoon, we saw $300 million worth of longs get liquidated. And if you look at the Bitcoin chart, this happened at 1600 hours. If we look at what happened at 1600 hours, we can see that there was a pretty big drop already taking place as a result of some FUD, and then those liquidations came into play and knocked out a bunch of the people that were long on Bitcoin. This is what I warn you guys about. You got to be careful about this, because whenever Bitcoin breaks all-time high, everybody wants to go long. Everybody wants to make some money. I mean, we even see this happening over with Kelly Kellum's Twitter here. Let me go ahead and grab his Twitter. He's one of our researchers, and he's got a really good post on this. A few minutes ago, you can see Bitcoin futures open interest hit a massive, massive, massive high, the largest that we've seen in many, many weeks, if not all-time high, 200,000 nearly. People are over-leveraged on Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies right now, and here's the deal. People are just getting a little bit too excited, getting a little bit ahead of ourselves. We don't want that to happen. Don't make the mistake of going over-leveraged. Don't make the mistake of not having a stop loss. We try and encourage you guys to be safe with your investments at all times, because it is a very easy way to mess stuff up. Today is Veterans Day. Am I getting that right?
It is.
Happy Veterans Day, guys.
You want to know how we found that out?
How?
I didn't look it up. We were working out this morning. This man and I were working out, and his Apple Watch said, "Congratulations on finishing your Veterans Day workout."
That was awesome. Happy Veterans Day. I can't believe I let that slip up on me.
Apple
Thank you
coming in
very
clutch.
much to all of our veterans. Shout out to T. Shroom also, who is about to join the National Guard. Is it, T. Shroom?
Yes.
Yep, there you go. He's about to join the National Guard. He is a member of our research team, and we're very sad that he's going to be leaving for 2 months to go to basic training, but we're very thankful for him. We're very thankful for all of our veterans. Drop a 1 in chat if you were thankful for the people that defend our country. With that said, I also want to give you a little bit of a shout out to Kelly also. Kelly is going to be getting interviewed by me next Monday, and you're going to see that interview go out not this Saturday, but next Saturday, so make sure you subscribe for that. Dude is a freaking super genius, and he's actually going to be flying down here to be in person here in a month or so, so we're really looking forward to that. But let's go ahead and jump straight into some altcoin technical analysis, guys. We mix things up a little bit here. We want to keep it fresh, and today we're going to start with Litecoin. You guys always want to hear what is going on with Litecoin, and I don't blame you. Litecoin has been doing very well as of the last couple of days. Just a bit of an origin story here. When I first got into Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies back over here in 2017, I vividly remember all of these big run-ups that happened on Litecoin. I remember watching Litecoin rally up to $99 for the first time. I'll show you the time that I first got into cryptocurrency. It was right... I want to say the first time I ever bought cryptocurrency was right here or somewhere around here. I forget the day, but I remember the first time I ever bought crypto, before I bought Bitcoin, before I bought Ethereum, any of that, my first purchase in crypto was in August of 2017. I bought a quarter of a Litecoin at $41.02 a coin, and bought 10 bucks of it. I was very excited to have some Litecoin. So I have a special place in my heart reserved for Litecoin, but I do not have a special place reserved in my portfolio for Litecoin, because I think Litecoin is, to be honest, a bit of a dead project. But you guys want to know what's happening on it. It's obviously doing very well. So let's just go ahead and take a look here at a couple different technicals. First thing I can show you guys is that there has been a stupid amount of rallying going on Litecoin ever since the 7th of November. Had a massive blast off. We managed to break straight through the top band on the Bollinger Bands. And of course, we are massively overextended. Even looking at Lux Algo here, we'll be able to see that we penetrated very deep into the reversal zones. We got really, really, really far into there. Basically, that's just saying, hey, look, Litecoin's bullish right now. Absolutely. Kind of needs to calm down a little bit. And that actually shows up as well here with this uptrending level of resistance. Litecoin is in a massive ascending trading channel right now. And I think that there are one of two things that are going to happen. You're going to say, as soon as I say this, you're going to say, Jebb, well, duh, but trust me, hang on just a second. Let me explain. Litecoin's either about to moonshot straight through this resistance, or it's going to pull back down to around $234. I know you're like, well, shoot, Jebb, either it does that or it trades sideways. Of course, it's going to do one. Let me explain. One, Litecoin could go absolutely parabolic here because of a lot of FOMO going into the altcoins. We have seen altcoin cycles start before as a result of little number 5, number 10, number 15 altcoins just pop off like popcorn kernels. We've seen it happen with the dog coins. We've seen it happen with Ethereum. We've seen it happen with Solana. We've seen it happen with a bunch of different projects. It could happen with Litecoin. I personally don't think it's going to. I think what Litecoin is going to do here is, as a result of this massive shooting star formation that showed up on the candlesticks here just yesterday while I was gone, I think Litecoin is going to reject from this uptrending level of resistance and pull back down to at least $234. That said, technical analysis is very difficult to be done on a project like Litecoin that is running based on FOMO. People are buying Litecoin because they're FOMOing into the project, plain and simple. In my opinion, I don't think Litecoin provides enough value to be worthwhile investing in. I could be wrong on that. I have been wrong in the past. I will be wrong in the future, and it is my prerogative to tell you as soon as I am. But I'm just going to be honest with you. I personally don't hold Litecoin, and I don't hold Litecoin because I don't think it provides any value over things that Bitcoin can do, over things that Ethereum can do, and other projects can do. But if you're in Litecoin, you've made a lot of money, but just remember one of the golden rules of trading: if you're in profit, never be scared to sell when you're in profit. I personally hold by a philosophy where I buy and I just hold for the long run and I barely ever sell, but don't ever be scared to sell when you're up. If you're up 30% right now on Litecoin, not a bad idea to take some of those profits and put them back into like Bitcoin, Ethereum, or another project. There's absolutely no shame in that. In fact, it can be a very good idea, but that does depend on your own preference. Looking down here to the 4-hourly chart really quickly, though, actually it shows up better on the 1-hourly chart. There is another reason why I'm saying this could happen on Litecoin. There's a head and shoulders pattern forming on Litecoin, and if this follows its technicals, then we would likely see Litecoin pull all the way back down to like $215, $220 or so. So the technicals kind of back up what I'm saying there. Now let's go ahead and move on. Unless Tim, do you want to add anything to that Litecoin today?
All I was going to say is, if you're looking at the RSI, we are going to see some bearish RSI forming very clearly on the 4-hourly, then the 2-hourly, on the 1-hourly. So that, not looking great there. Even
there is some very strong bearish
Bollinger Bands
on the.
So it's like in the shorter time frames, we're not looking great on the RSI. On the longer time frames, we're not looking good in the Bollinger Bands, and even the TD sequential is not the greatest in the world. Also, the VPVR, we're sitting at a pretty crucial level right now. That if all the other indicators were bullish, I would say, hey, we're gonna ride up the hill. But there's a lot of bearish stuff happening here, and we're sitting right at a crucial point that we could be starting a downside trajectory. But there's also, I'm not going to show it on my chart. It would take too much time.
Yeah.
But I might make a Twitter post about it. The interesting different angles of resistance that we could be looking at for this ascending wedge that it looks like it's developing. And actually, what's really funny is I have 3 different levels of resistance, and there are price points using all 3 of them right now, so they are all 3 relevant. I might make a Twitter post on that later, but we'll see.
Well, guys, if you want to go find that Twitter post, where can they find you, Sam?
They can find me at @thecrypto_beard. Somebody else took the. I wish I could change it now. I don't even know. Can you change your at?
You can change your handle.
I'm gonna work on that.
You just have to update literally everything.
TA10, but for right now, it's.
I still Can somebody make a poll in chat whether you prefer TA10 or the Crypto Beard? I always thought the Crypto Beard was the better of the 2 names, but I would love to hear chat's opinion on that. Guys, let's go ahead and move on here to another project called Algorand. This is one that we haven't talked about a lot here on the channel. In fact, I don't know if we've ever talked about Algorand here on the channel. We'll just do a quick market recap on it. If we go over here to CoinMarketCap and type in Algo, we'll be able to find Algorand. It is currently ranked number 20, and it has a market capitalization of almost $13 billion with a B, and people are very, very bullish on this project. Don't have time to go into the fundamentals, but I can show you a little bit about the technicals. I know you guys are interested in some of these lower cap projects. We're trying to do more altcoin TA, and by the way, guys, as soon as we are done here with some of the altcoins, we're going to go into a check-in with the chat, an intermission. We're going to read some super chats, and then we are going to dive straight into about 20 minutes of Bitcoin TA. So if you want to know where Bitcoin's going next, stay tuned. We're getting to that. We just got to run through some of these technicals first and get them out of the way. As far as Algorand is concerned, there are several things that are in play right now, and the most obvious one shows up on the daily chart. And it is this gigantic bull pennant. This bull pennant has been in effect ever since mid-part of September. We've been in this bull pennant for the better part of the last 3 months. If this bull pennant were to break out, then Algorand, based on a simple price target, would likely rally all the way to $3.69. Nice. But I don't know that that's necessarily going to happen, and the reason is very simple. Algorand is a good project, yes, but being ranked number 20 means that it's going to find a hard time getting the investment capital it needs to double as this bull flag would predict. And the reason that I say that is because when Bitcoin goes on a massive run, as I think it is going to over the next several months, oftentimes Bitcoin has a tendency to gobble up all of the market capitalization, and it creates like this vacuum, like when a tsunami's coming in and the tide just rushes out. That's kind of what happens. You see the tide rush out. What is that? That's the market capitalization leaving the altcoins, going into this giant tidal wave of Bitcoin. Then the first wave comes in, Bitcoin crashes, sometimes literally, and then all that money goes into the altcoins, and that's normally what we see happen. We see Bitcoin leads, and then the altcoins follow. So even though we might be seeing a breakout on algo over the next couple of days above this downtrending level of resistance, we've already tried to get above it once and then failed yesterday, along with the crash that we saw in the rest of the market. Algorand probably is going to break bullish here just based on some of the other TA that we've done, but I would say that you're going to have to fight hard to find the volume and the investment that you're going to need to cause it to rally that far. But with that said, we are sitting on top of a little bit of a hill here on the VPVR, and if we start rolling to the upside, it's going to do very, very well. I'm not saying that it can't go back to all-time high. It probably will go back to 250 relatively quickly, especially considering it's a good project. But I do think it's going to be difficult for it to fully reach that price target that it has. Excuse me. Now, with that said, if we take a look here at the RSI, we can see that we have stayed above this important level of support down here on the RSI around 45 for quite some time, and that basically tells us, hey, Algorand is very much in, the bulls are very much in charge of Algorand. We're in this flag right here, and I think there is a profit potential to be made here. If we start breaking this downtrend, it probably is going to go into a rally. So I'm not saying that I'm bearish on algo. I am bullish on algo. I think we're going to have a good couple of months. We've even seen volume taper off here, and when that starts coming back, we're probably going to do pretty well. So if you're looking for profit potential in a trade that you might be in for a month or so, I do think the next month is going to be relatively bullish on algo. I personally could see it going back up to 250, which would be, what is that, a 20% rally? Yeah, about a 20% rally in probably the next month. I think there's better opportunities out there, but I do think it is doing pretty well. Now, let's go ahead and take a look at another project that you guys are always asking me about, Luna. This project is one that we get asked about so much. Terra Luna. Drop a 1 in chat if you are excited for us to finally talk about it. It is ranked number 12, and it has a market capitalization of just under $25 billion. And this is what its chart looks like. The very first thing that jumps out to me here, and I am doing some of this technical analysis live. I do have some notes on this that we've looked at before the stream, but I'm noticing this literally as we're going right now. On the daily chart, Luna has a massive ascending wedge forming. We have an uptrending level of resistance that we have been touching, and we have touched 3 times in the last few months. This is about a year of price data just to kind of orient you. We're looking at a rising wedge here that's about 3 months old. It started over here at the beginning of September, and then we're here right now on 11/11, make a wish. And we do have this uptrending level of support as well that we've touched many, many times, about 5 times in total. What's the deal here? Well, this basically tells us that Luna has a likelihood of breaking to the downside, and funnily enough, its volume has been dropping very quickly, especially ever since about the beginning of October, indicating that we could be seeing constriction here that is going to result in a big return of volatility. Whenever you see a triangle pattern or an ascending triangle pattern or a wedge, you expect to see the volume drop. You expect to see the volatility drop, which we can prove has dropped by the Bollinger Bands. Constricting here, and basically what we're seeing is that Luna is likely to have a return to volatility relatively soon. Could it break to the upside? It absolutely could. That is very much in the cards. I just don't think it's what's most likely just based on the chart alone. If we look even here at the, if we look at, what is it? We're looking at VPVR. We can see that it has a ton of support beneath it down here at $6. It has a lot of support down it below it down here at $16, and it does have a lot of support here in this $30 to $40 region. I think that there is a decent chance that it will break to the downside here, but I think that it will likely find support down here, probably around $35, which is an obvious level of support based on these highs and these lows and the VPVR, and it'll probably bounce and rally in accordance with its fundamentals. Tim, do you have any takes on Terra Luna that I didn't already say?
Literally all I have to do right now is look at the daily, especially with a project you don't look at all the time. You're not constantly doing things. So if you're considering getting in, you know, make your own decision. But I'm telling you right now, I would not get into it. On the daily chart alone, we have a very constricted Bollinger Band that we're at the top at, and so I think we're going to be coming back down. We are finishing up an ascending wedge that we are playing very deep in. Yeah. We have bearish RSI divergence. The MACD is about to cross bearish. This is all the daily chart. I haven't even gone in closer to the 8-hourly, 4-hourly, 1-hourly. This is not looking like a great place to get in.
Yeah, and look, guys, here's the deal. Technical analysis is not ever going to give you a guarantee. It doesn't happen. It's impossible. But what it does do is it should be a way of coloring your vision. if you're looking at this chart and you say, okay, I see that we're in a rising wedge. Those typically break to the downside. I see that MACD looks like it's about to break to the downside. I see this spinning top that happened yesterday, which indicates indecision. You don't want to go from an uptrend to indecision because that's one step towards bearish. Whenever you see those things, it should trigger something in your mind that says, something doesn't feel right about this. Look, I'm not knocking Terra Luna as a project. I think it's a decent project. I still need to do more research on it, but simply looking at the chart, it doesn't instill a lot of confidence in me. But with that said, I do think there is a profit potential. I just think that the profit potential is probably on the shorting side. But I'd be careful about that because it is in a long-term uptrend. You want to be careful betting against the trend. But
yeah, even if you back it up and you want to look at the weekly chart, there's a long-term ascending wedge there as well. But even that,
oh wow, that's
we're
true.
sitting
I see that.
right at I would say about the 70% mark where we usually break bearish about that mark. I'm just telling you guys, I don't know the fundamentals of Luna. I don't know. I haven't been paying attention to it this whole time. But what I just popped up on my screen, unless you know something that we don't know, Luna is not looking like it's in a great place right now.
Yeah. And that's the thing about technical analysis, guys. It gives you the ability to get a good deal. And I don't think you're getting a good deal by buying long on Luna right now. With that said, let's go ahead and briefly look at Solana, and then we're going to dive into some super chats, and we're going to read some chat. Here's the thing with Solana. It's kind of got a similar story right now to Terra Luna, and here's why. Solana just rallied a lot. Like, I'm talking a lot. About a week and a half ago, it surpassed Cardano. For a second there, it was sitting up at number 4. I think it might have even, for just a minute, jumped into number 3, but it was definitely sitting above Tether. It's contending for that number 4 slot. I think Solana is a decent project, but quite frankly, I've seen better, and it currently has some massive bearish RSI divergence that has been in play for 3 months. It is currently seeing a bearish MACD cross taking place, and I believe we've also just seen the trend catcher turn red here on Lux Algo, which is not a very good sign to me. And we've jumped all the way up here into the reversal zones, indicating that we're probably at a local top. And to be honest with you guys, I just don't feel that great about this project. We also saw a red 9 flash come in right here. And if we take a look at the Bollinger Bands and the volume, we can see the volume is dropping and we are rejecting right now. Now, that being said, on the short term, we have come down and tested some important levels of support, such as the 20, which shows up in the Bollinger Bands. But in general, I think we may have seen a local top here on Solana. I think that we could very easily see a little bit more correction here in this descending trading channel that you can see right there. And then we probably will bounce and we probably will rally. Solana has a very strong community. I'm not knocking the project necessarily. I'm not the biggest fan of Solana. I need to do more research on it. But right now, I just don't think you'd be getting a good deal. I think there are better deals in crypto. And that's kind of the point I'm trying to make here. These projects are not bad investments as far as I'm concerned. But I do think you can get a better deal. Just taking a look at the RSI sitting up here at 66. Looking at the weekly chart, RSI sitting up here at 77. I think you can find a better deal. Remember, guys, it's not about if you can make money in the project. It's about the opportunity cost as well. If any dollar you put into Solana is a dollar that you're not able to put into the rest of the cryptocurrency market, where you might be able to find a better project and a better game. With that said, we ran a couple minutes long there on the altcoin discussion. That is okay. We will eat a little bit into our Bitcoin TA. Let's go for about 5 minutes reading super chats, and then we'll jump right back into some Bitcoin TA. Thank you guys so much for watching, and if you are enjoying, make sure to hit that like button. It helps to promote the video in the algorithm of YouTube.
By the way, just so you guys know, this is actually breaking on our end. Jebb doesn't even know this. I don't think Smay knows this, but I have approval from our marketing director, so therefore it is official. At the end of today, we are going to announce a giveaway for CT2A, so make sure you guys stay tuned. We're going to give you all of the details of how you're actually going to do it.
Hey.
And you know what I got? This is funny. Shannon texted me saying, hey, Tim, however you want to do it. So I'm going to spend the rest of the show thinking, how do we want to do a giveaway for CD2A? But the reason for that, guys, is we just hit 200,000 subs yesterday. Not possible without all of you guys, so thank you so much.
Thank you guys so much for that, by the way. I completely forgot to mention that in this morning stream. Thank you guys so much for that. It sucks that it happened the day that I was out, but guys, it's really cool because in 6 days, the channel is going to actually be turning 4 years old. So we hit 200K right before the channel turned 4 years old. First video went up November 16, 2017. We've been grinding every single day here for a long time, and I really just, my heart is just on fire for you guys. I just love watching you guys grow. It just, gosh, like the hair on the back of my neck is standing up just saying it. I love watching you guys become financially free. The emails that we get from you guys are life-changing for you guys, but also they're life-changing for us because we get to see you guys growing, and it's just so cool. I just love it.
Well, that being said, let me read some super chats. We do have a lot of them. Probably won't read all of them in this break, but we'll do the best we can. Drew3353 said he has an FJB coin to top gainer on CMC and donated $10,000 to veterans. Big donation coming today. Jebb, what are your thoughts?
Wait, say again?
So the coin is called FJB. It's a top gainer on CMC, coin market cap, and donated $10,000 to veterans. Big donation coming today. Jebb, what are your thoughts on that? I don't know if we...
I'm not going to comment on that. Tim, type that into CoinMarketCap and you'll see why.
I don't know if I want to.
Yeah, no, we're not going to go there.
That's good to know. I can't proofread every single one of these suckers.
Yeah.
All right,
guys, just so you guys know, this is not a political channel and we don't endorse either side, but we're going to keep it that way. Thank you very much.
Good to know.
But thank you for the super chat.
Terran Crypto, Farnsworth. Does Adam's TA outshine its weak tokenomics? Is there real upside to my favorite altcoin?
On which project? I'm sorry, I was reading
Adams.
Chat. Adams?
Yes.
Adams or Atmos? Adams?
ATOM.
I haven't done a lot of, I have looked into it. I just haven't looked at Adams TA recently. So I can't really give you an informed conclusion on that right now, but I think it's a decent project from what I can tell.
Gotcha. Keep moving on. We're going to go to RL saying, looking for Excel templates for crypto tracking. Any recommendations or recommendation for best online tracker?
So I have a spreadsheet that I set up a long time ago that I use to track the major part of my crypto holdings. People have asked me about it, but to be honest with you, I think Blockfolio probably does a much better job than my simple Excel spreadsheet. So if you're looking for something, we're not sponsored by Blockfolio, and frankly, I haven't even used Blockfolio in like a year, but I'm planning on it. I think that's probably the better one to use. So check that out.
Gotcha. Another one just came. Well, we just had another one from Carlos C saying HBAR looking strong even though Bitcoin crashed. Which, by the way, Bitcoin didn't crash. It didn't crash. It corrected. Dropped, but anyway, what do you think of that? Would it be a good purchase? So he's talking about HBAR.
So it's HBAR. Let me figure. I always have fun trying to pronounce HBAR. Hedera. It's something that I have not personally invested in, and I prefer to only speak on things that I personally invested in. I haven't looked into it. It's one of the ones on my list to look into. I can't really give you a lot of information on it. Like I said, guys, I'm broadening my horizon. I'm learning a lot more about some of these smaller cap altcoins, but that's one that I have not gotten to just yet. I think we have time for one more. We can cut just a little bit into our Bitcoin TA.
And we have a lot of them, so I'm gonna make sure we get all these read in future. But one just came in from Marcos Rojas saying, "Love that you guys are covering altcoins now. Any chance you guys could do .TA on the upcoming show?"
We can do DOT tomorrow. We can probably fit DOT in if there's something interesting going on. Yeah, we're trying to do like 3, 4, 5 altcoins each show. So, Kelly, you're watching. Take note of that. If DOT is interesting tomorrow, then we can look at it. I'm looking at it right now. It looks like it's kind of interesting. We broke bullish out of an ascending pattern, ascending wedge. Yeah. And now we're trying to break out bearish. So we might do that tomorrow. Yeah, stay tuned for that.
Yeah, let's go and jump back into it.
Cool. Well, let's do it, guys. We are now going to look at Bitcoin. I know you guys are excited about Bitcoin. And here's the deal. I want to give kind of a little bit of a rundown on what's going on Bitcoin, because a lot of people are concerned about it, and I really don't think you should be. Bitcoin set a new all-time high. Let's just do a little bit of a market recap. Set a new all-time high on October the 20th at $67,000. Yesterday, we set a new all-time high at nearly $69,000. Nice. And it rallied all the way up to $68,980 around 9 a.m. yesterday, right during the show. So we actually dropped right after the show ended, didn't we, Tim? Because I wasn't able to look at the market yesterday. I was in a 7-hour-long meeting, which I love the meeting, but I definitely did not have the ability to look at the markets. So there was this massive drop that happened in between 1 p.m. and 5 p.m. is what it looks like. We dropped $6,000, 8% over the span of those 3 or 4 hours. And here's the deal. If you remember back to Tuesday, what did we say? We said Bitcoin broke all-time high, but was losing momentum. It will probably either pull back between $66,000 and $67,000, or at worst, it might pull all the way back down to this uptrending level of support. By the way, this uptrending level of support was drawn 2 days ago before we went down and touched it. Guess what happened? Bitcoin crashed all the way down. I shouldn't say crash. It dropped all the way down to 62,900, about 63,000, bounced up, and now we're sitting above this resistance, above this support. So there's 2 ways you can look at this, and we're going to back up and do all the TA here in a second, but I just kind of want to wet your palate, get you kind of up to speed on what's going on. There's 2 ways you can look at this. Either one, Bitcoin is back testing support and is going to bounce and is going to rally because the fundamentals are fantastic. 2, you can say that there is a bear flag forming right now, And the price target on that would be all the way down at $60,000. I don't think that's going to happen, but let's just entertain that for just a second. Let's entertain the worst case scenario, in my opinion, that Bitcoin does go down to $60,000. What does that mean? That just means that Bitcoin comes down, tests this uptrending level of support, sets a higher low, and then it will almost certainly bounce, because when Bitcoin goes down to 60K, you know there are a bunch of whales down there getting ready to buy, myself included. I'm not a whale, but I'm looking forward to being one. And the way I'm going to is by buying the dip. If Bitcoin does follow the worst case scenario, you know what it does? It sets a longer term higher low, and we continue moving to the upside. And by the way, if we do that, then we just set a higher low on this gigantic bull flag. And by the way, this bull flag has a price target of where? $87,000.
Yeah.
So if we do follow the worst case scenario of dropping down to 60K, it actually reconfirms the price prediction of $88,000 that we made 3 days ago. So I just want you to be careful about letting the FUD take over. And that's what we want to do here at this channel, is we want to make sure that the FUD doesn't overwhelm you and that the FOMO doesn't get you in a sticky situation. We don't want you succumbing to either one of those. We want you looking at this market from a very empirical and rational point of view. And if you just do the technical analysis and you just understand the way these markets work, it takes a while. I understand it is complicated, and we're trying to make it easy for you. We want to be educational, informational, and entertaining, but mostly educational and informational. Then you'll understand it. My point, nothing to be worried about. Yes, there was a drop. I think part of it was manipulated. We're going to talk about Evergrande and all the different conflicting news stories here in a little bit. It was a big mess yesterday while I was gone. Wait until I'm gone, and then we see a bunch of FUD coming out about Evergrande, and the channel hits 200K subs, and Twitter hits 30,000 followers, and just the one day a month I'm gone is when everything happens. That's just, that's just my luck. Anyway, let's go ahead and jump back out to the daily chart. We'll run through all of our technicals, and then we'll draw some more conclusions here in a second. First and foremost, if Bitcoin, and I'm just going to repeat this because it's really important, if Bitcoin does pull back down here, we're going to be retesting this uptrending level of support. Boom, just had to say it. It's really important. Now, let's take a look down here at the MACD. Take a look at what happened here. We are trying, question mark, to see a bearish MACD cross, but we actually haven't seen the bearish MACD cross. What we have seen is 3 days ago, there was a bullish MACD cross. Sometimes Bitcoin will have a bullish MACD cross that will be followed by a few days of uncertainty. That's just the way that goes. You saw it happen right here where we crossed bullish, it kind of fell over, crossed bearish again, then we crossed bullish a second time. We might be seeing the same thing happen here. It is actually very common for the MACD to do something that looks a little bit like this. It'll cross bullish, I don't really feel like it, and then no, actually I do feel like it, and then it just moonshots. This is definitely a potential. This very much can happen, and by the way, it has happened many times in the history of Bitcoin. I can show you a ton of examples of Bitcoin having little fake crosses, and then it says, I don't really feel like it, and then it actually does it. Here in December of 2018 is a good example. Bullish cross, nah, I don't really feel it, boom, and then it just moonshots. That's kind of what we might be seeing happen right now. And just keep in mind on the MACD, guys, we rallied on the 4-hourly chart MACD to one of only a few highest points in the last several weeks on the MACD. Every time we've rallied to this point, we went into a massive rally. I showed you guys this on Thursday. It's not Thursday, on Tuesday, and I will show you again. If we look on the MACD, we draw a vertical line on all of these touches here when we rallied up above like above 1,000 on 4-hourly chart MACD. Take a look at what happened on the price action. 3 of those 4 instances, we went into a massive rally. Only the 4th one did we have a correction, and we needed that correction. In the first 3 instances that Bitcoin's MACD rallied up here, we rallied between 10 and 20%. We're probably seeing something similar happen here. The MACD is having a healthy correction, a healthy consolidation, because we did get pretty high. It's not something that I think that we ought to be worried about. Now, with that said, there are bearish technicals, and as always, at this channel, we intend to show you both sides of the story, and one of those bearish technicals is the fact that there is pretty massive bearish RSI divergence playing out on the daily chart. Tim, you talk about bearish RSI divergence all the time. It seems to be one of your favorite technical indicators. Yeah. Can you tell us a little bit about what's going on there?
If you guys watched the show yesterday, and there's no reason to go back and watch it, we're talking about it right now, but I talked about it on there, and we kind of discussed the fact that I wanted to see the price continue to go up and the RSI go up to cancel it out. Guess what? That didn't happen, so therefore, that's what I was kind of concerned about. I was like, guys, we're setting up bearish RSI divergence. Sure enough, we're playing it out. But here's what's really good, and I don't know if you've talked about this just yet. The other thing we talked about yesterday was how ugly this cup and handle formation was, and I wasn't yet ready to say that it wasn't one yet, but I was close to saying, man, if we go bullish, I think it went bullish for good reasons, but that wasn't cup and handle. To me, I actually like this dip it makes a little bit a cleaner cup and handle. And I think that there's really nothing to worry about when you zoom out and you look at things. Just because we had a little dip, again, not a crash, just a little dip, this is all part of a really, really bullish movement for Bitcoin. Again, if you looked at the Elliott Waves on the daily chart, we're just hitting the peak of a 3. I said on the show, Jebb, what do you call it? What do you call the lines on an Elliott Wave?
They are they're primary and corrective waves is what they are.
Waves. So we just hit our 3 wave pretty much.
Yeah, the 3 wave.
So this downward motion might be part of a 4, but we still have a long way to go in this Bitcoin rally before we need to see a significant correction.
Yeah, no, guys, we really have a very long way to go. And by the way, we have a long way to go on the likes. We got almost 4,000 people watching and less than 1,000 likes. That ain't gonna cut it, guys. Let's see if we can't get to 1,700 likes in the next 5 minutes. I know that we can do it, and here's why. Because I think it's important to tell the why behind everything. The reason that we talk about the like button a lot, it might seem like we're shilling the like button. The reason we do it is because YouTube looks at engagement on video. So your comments, your likes, even your dislikes. If you dislike the video, it looks at the engagement on the video, and the more engagement the video has, the more it promotes it because it thinks that, well, people enjoy the content. So if you enjoy the content, show it by hitting that like button. We very much appreciate it. It helps to get the content in front of more people, and if you think we're providing value to you, then some of your peers here in cryptocurrency might feel the same. Now, moving on here with our technical analysis on Bitcoin, there is something that I want to show you happen a couple of days ago. I mentioned this already on Tuesday, but it hadn't been confirmed when I mentioned it. On Tuesday, we did see a spinning top form on Bitcoin. This is the power of technical analysis, guys. Spinning tops do indicate indecision in the market. If you're moving to the upside and then you become indecisive, well, that's one step towards bearishness. We saw a spinning top form here, and I'm going to be honest with you, it's not the best-looking spinning top in the world. It's a little bit weighted towards the bullish camp, which, to be honest with you, is not necessarily a good thing. It actually means the bulls got kind of rejected, which I know a lot about that. It kind of sucks. And we saw Bitcoin pull back. In doing so, we also formed a gigantic spinning top, which might elude your perception at first, but yesterday was an even bigger spinning top. So this signals that there's a lot of indecisiveness in the market. It signals that the bulls are powerful, the bears are powerful, but we don't really know who the winner is right now. Here's the deal. When you are seeing indecision on a time frame, best thing you can do. This is hands down the best thing you can do whenever you see indecision on a time frame. Go a time frame up. Just kick it up to the 2-day chart, kick it up to the 3-day, kick it up to the weekly chart. What are you going to find? Well, on the weekly chart right now, what you're going to find is that we're forming a shooting star. You might think, that's pretty bearish. That's not good. But let's kick it up another time frame if you're seeing a little bit of indecision. What has taken place over the last 20 weeks? We've seen 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 weeks take place since we bottomed out at $30,000. 17 weeks. In those 17 weeks, we've seen 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 green weeks. In 17 weeks, only 4 of them have been red. 13 have been bullish. What does that tell us? It tells us that we shouldn't be worried about a correction because we're in a long-term uptrend. If you're worried about a correction right now, I implore you, when in doubt, zoom out. When there's indecision, zoom out. It will help to calm your nerves. If we're in a downtrend, you can make a lot of money shorting. In fact, oftentimes it's easier to make money shorting for whatever reason. Sometimes I have found it even easier to short. I did an interview with Wendy O that's going to be coming out on Saturday, and she said that it's even easier for her to short than it is to long. So if there's a downtrend, don't be worried about that. That's actually a good opportunity. But if we're seeing a correction, don't fear. Bitcoin is here. Anyway, let's move on down to the 4-hourly chart because there's a few more things here to show you. First and foremost, let's take a look at the MACD. The MACD is having quite a day, having a drop. It looks like it's kind of jumping off a cliff here, but the thing that I want to show you on the 4-hourly chart MACD is that we're actually seeing the bottoms round. Over the last 16 hours, we've seen this rounding action take place, which means that we could be seeing a bullish MACD cross come in the next 12 to 36 hours. If that occurs, that is going to be very bullish, and it could help us to bounce off of this support, which, by the way, we're currently sitting above it, but we haven't confirmed. I told you a second ago, and it very well may happen, we could pull all the way back down here to $60,000, $61,000. Don't be worried if that happens. Look at it as a buying opportunity because we are still in a long-term uptrend. Taking a look at RSI here, we can see that RSI is currently sitting down here at 47, and that RSI also has some bearish RSI divergence. We have long-term bearish RSI divergence, but then we also have short-term bearish RSI divergence. This does indicate that we should be expecting bearish price action. Oh, guess what? We already saw some of it. There might be more coming. Don't get worried about that. Don't get freaked out. I've said it 100 times, but I'm saying it 100 times for that one guy who's running around like a chicken with his head cut off, like, oh my gosh, Bitcoin's right. It's okay. It's all right. It's a buying opportunity. Nevertheless, let's take a look here at our VPVR. because it tells us something very encouraging. Remember like a week ago when I kept harping on $61,300? Do you remember that? Like, Tim, do you remember that? You remember me harping on that? Yep. I kept saying, hey, look, $61,300 is the level you need to look at. Why did I say that? Because of the point of control on VPVR. Well, guess what? Right now, 61,300 lines up with this uptrend. So yeah, if Bitcoin drops here, where's it going to go? It's going to go right where I was telling you a week ago. It's going to go to 61,300. If we break to the downside, expect, yeah, we could drop $4,000. Should we be worried about that? No. By the way, should you short that? Probably not, because you're betting against the trend, which is an uptrend in general. But if we do pull back down to 61,300, that is not, in my opinion, a bad place to long. Have a tight stop loss, because Bitcoin will be in jeopardy of dropping lower, and it can happen. But to be honest with you, if we drop down here to 61,300, not a bad idea on the bounce. If you see a lot of volume, if you see a lot of volatility, if you see a lot of retail investor interest, if you see the altcoins doing well, to go ahead and enter a long position there, because you will be betting with the trend. Even though we're downtrending for those 3 days, we will be in a gradual uptrend. Do you have any opinion on that?
Yeah, you know, so this, I now hold this opinion. Kelly texted me, and I actually love the lines you're using. Smay, can you each switch over to my chart, which we have the ability, hopefully we have the ability to do that right now. So the line that he's talking about, Jebb's talking about right here, you know, I anchored right here.
Oh, no, it takes a second.
Oh, it takes a second? All right, I'm going to give it a second. Tell me when I'm good.
It's taking its time.
Nice.
Not too excited.
If I can't do it, if he can't work, I can just walk Jebb through.
You can walk me through it if you need to.
Try it again, maybe.
Try it again. I'm here. The good news
it's not working.
It's not working. All right, let's go back to Jebb's chart. I'm sorry about that, guys. We'll have that fixed hopefully tomorrow or next week or sometime. But
all right,
Jebb, that line that you have, I'm assuming you have anchored. I'm looking at the 4-hourly chart. Makes it nice and easy.
I'm on 4-hourly.
All right, so you have it anchored on that peak on the 20th of October, correct? And then it touches right there on the 2nd of November, right? That resistance.
Oh, you're talking about the downtrend. Yeah, this is also true.
So look at that right there. And then you have the rising support. So obviously you have that the 13th of October, and it touches here the 20th of October. It touches again cleanly on the 6th of November.
Yep.
What we have right there is a bull pennant. And as Kelly pointed out when he texted me, look at where that wick comes down to that we just had. Right on that red line. That is a confirmation of a bullish break on a bull pennant. So what we have right here, what Jebb is talking about, is definitely, you know, this is not to negate anything Jebb said. What we have here is that rising level of support. I don't like stopping them when they cross each other and just saying, all right, they touched, we're done. I like seeing those continue on. And I talked about this on the show the other day, is a lot of times when you break bullish out of these, so it's a bull pennant, it's a symmetrical triangle pattern that we were bullish running into.
By the way, with a price target of $88,000.
Yes.
We talked about that.
What we came down and touched was confirmation that we're breaking bullish.
Yep.
And guys, as long as we never drop below, on my chart is blue, I don't know what your color is. I think yours is blue as well. If you keep drawing that out long term, if we never drop below that rising level of support, there's no reason to think that we have anything bearish going on. This is actually a nice bull run continuing to move forward.
Yeah.
And those lines continue to evolve and they continue to update. That's why, you know, sometimes when you're confused, you got to go back, you got to zoom out, you got to look at past stuff and redraw things. And this is one of those things. I have this line going on for eternity because I think that's an important line, and it will be killed at some point.
What's that phrase that we say? When in
doubt, zoom out.
Something about when in doubt. Have we said that before? I don't know.
I
feel like I've heard that on this channel before.
Once
anyway,
or twice.
Once or twice. Here's the deal, guys. Let's go ahead and keep moving on down to the hourly chart. You've been hopefully encouraged by the fact that there's a lot of support beneath us, and there is a very strong argument to be made that we're going to hold it. Looking down to the hourly chart, there are some more encouraging factors. We just had a bullish MACD cross down here on the hourly chart. Now, keep in mind, the hourly chart MACD is a very short-term narrative. Having a bullish MACD cross down here, I don't put a lot of weight and stock in, literally, but I do think that it's nice to see. It could indicate that we're going to see some upwards movement or at least sideways movement, but I am just going to be honest with you guys. When I say we could go down to 61,300, I really should be saying I think we're going to, because honestly, we sat here on this uptrending level of support, didn't bounce with a lot of confidence. Like that, I don't know about you. This does not look confident to me. It looks like the Bears are still in charge and the Bulls are fighting back, but they're, you know, struggling. I think that we are going to drop a little. Tim, do you think we're actually going to drop down to 61,300, or do you think I'm being overly pessimistic?
No, I think so. Just so you guys know the way I view TA, I like to know my options, and so when people are like, "Oh, it could go up, could go down," I like to know it could go up. I like to know if it goes down, where's it going down to? If it goes up, where's it going up to? So could it go down to 61,000? Absolutely. But I do not think that's the likelihood. I actually think that coming down and touching that level of previous level of resistance was the the support slash the confirmation we needed to say, hey guys, we're ready to resume. Also, that's as low as we need to go for that cup and handle. So I think we can go back and say, all right, that's a prettier cup and handle. That's a prettier handle part of the cup. And now it's time to rally up. I think fundamentals, I know there's some FUD coming out too, but a lot of times FUD to me is actually a bullish sign.
FUD is transient. It doesn't stay around for very long.
Yeah.
Well, really quickly, let's jump into some, let's go ahead and look at some Lux Algo technical analysis, because there is a lot that Lux Algo is saying right now. The very first thing I want to show you is out on the daily chart. When we see a correction like this, it's important that you look at Lux Algo, because Lux Algo is going to give you some information on whether or not it's a real correction or a faux correction, like a little tiny little just sideways movement rather than a giant trend reversal. We saw a strong buy signal come in on the 8th of November. It's still in play. And by the way, it's not purple, it's green. That means that it is still very strong. Purple is an indecision indicator. We can see it over here, where the strong sell signal back in September turned purple right before we had the strong buy signal. That indicated that we went from a strong sell signal to a weak sell signal, and then, of course, we saw the strong buy signal. What we see right now is that we're under a strong buy signal. We shouldn't be concerned. We should actually be very happy. On top of that, take a look here at something called the EQ cloud. The wider the EQ cloud is, the more bullish you are in a long-term perspective. Right now, the EQ cloud is literally like $12,000 tall. As far as I can tell, that's one of the widest, one of the thickest areas that the EQ cloud has ever been. That indicates that there's a lot of bullish pressure in this market in the long run, and it's not something that we should be scared of. Even looking down here to the Lux Oscillator, we can see the Lux Oscillator has been rounding, moving to the upside. So we see green trend catcher. Trend tracer is another part of the pack that I don't use as much. Trend catcher is green, strong buy signal, and Lux Oscillator is rounding. What does that tell us? That tells us the medium to long term is very bullish. Should we be concerned about the short term? Probably not. We might come down. We might have some support. Should we be worried about that? No. In my opinion, Lux Algo and the rest of the market is telling us that we are solid. On top of that, take a look here at the reversal zone. Where's the reversal zone? $78,000. We talked about that a few days ago, how $78,000 is the lower end of our price targets for the end of November, if not moving into the beginning of December. When you look at a major long-term rally, you see that Lux Algo tends to, we tend to push into the reversal zone of Lux Algo. If we were to do that, Bitcoin would trade all the way up to $78,000. We almost hit $70,000 yesterday. So we're probably going to end up doing that. Looking down to the 4-hourly chart here on Lux Algo, we get a little bit of a different sign. And this makes sense because Lux Algo on the 4-hourly chart is going to tell us a much shorter term time frame. Down here, we have seen what I consider a pretty strong sell signal. And the reason that I see that is because we've seen that there has been a red trend catcher, a sell signal, and we've seen a red dot come in on the oscillator. That tells me that on the 4-hourly chart, we're pretty bearish. Now, the daily chart's bullish. We're solid on the daily chart. We don't have anything to be worried about up there. On the 4-hourly chart, Lux Algo is clarifying what the rest of my technical analysis has already told me, which is that we are bearish on the 4-hourly chart. I think we are going to drop down to 61,300, and Lux Algo is backing up that prediction because, remember, my strategy is using this cross of the trend catcher, this color change, I should say, using the buy and the sell signal, and then the Lux Oscillator down here. Now, Lux Oscillator has bottomed out and is rounding, but that makes sense because we're in this little sideways movement. In general, I think that we are doing pretty well. Here's the deal, guys. Lux Algo does say that the 4-hourly chart might be seeing some more bearishness. You shouldn't be worried about that. You should be looking forward to a correction because it means that the market is staying healthy. Now, looking down to the 1-hourly chart, let's see what we're seeing down here. Something similar. We saw a strong sell signal predict this entire movement. This is why Lux Algo is so helpful, guys, because remember, I didn't even pre-analyze this. I'm looking at this live while we're talking, and this kind of confirmed, not kind of, it does confirm the strategy that I have for when the market is in a trend. Now, when it's in a range, the last couple of days we've been ranging, we've been trading sideways. Lux Algo is not built for ranging markets. You can use it for that, but it really shines in trending markets, and we're in a downtrending market right now. We saw the strong sell signal come in. We saw the trend catcher turn red right here, as you can see, and then we saw us top out on Lux Oscillator and start moving to the downside. I look for those three, and whenever all three of them flash red at the same time, or all three of them flash green at the same time, that's when I am pretty confident that they are accurate. On top of that, you can see the reversal zone down here has given us a pretty strong bottom. We bottomed out right there in about the middle of the bottom reversal zone, but we've also seen the EQ cloud switch right here and turn red. Basically, what that's telling us is that the hourly chart and the 4-hourly chart are bearish. The daily chart is bullish. The 4-hourly chart and the hourly chart are going to be bearish for perhaps another couple of days. Then they will likely bottom out and they will reverse. You can even see right here that we are in a state of ranging. You can even see it down here in this tooltip. State ranging. The market is ranging. It is moving sideways. So that sideways movement is likely going to be broken up by a trend. What is the trend going to be? Based on our analysis, the trend is probably going to be down, followed by a big movement to the upside. So I think I made my position here pretty clear. I think we're going to see some bearishness over the next day, followed by some bullishness moving into the next 7 days. Tim, let's wrap out the segment by hearing your take. What do you think the next 7 days are going to look like on Bitcoin?
Yeah, that's, what's funny is I usually am looking at the shorter time frames. I've been doing a lot of stuff looking at longer time frames. So when I want to go down and look at 7 day, I'm mostly probably going to be looking at the 4-hourly, maybe even the 8-hourly as well. Sorry, I probably covered my mouth. Looking at the 4-hourly, looking at the 8-hourly. As a whole, we're kind of in a position where I'm just going to go with more of my gut. And again, while there are chances we go down this weekend, I'm going to go with my gut that we actually are in a great position to rally out of that cup and handle formation and see a price action. I think it's possible I still win the HODL trophy tomorrow. We hit 70,000. Not as confident as I was.
I don't think you're going to win.
Yesterday,
what was my
necessarily.
prediction? I forgot.
68 something, I think.
I predicted 68, really? I thought I predicted
that.
like 64,500.
Long story short,
you did not.
This time next week.
That might have been last week.
This time next week, I would not be surprised. I think I'm kind of in the camp of saying, if you ask me what I think was going to happen, I think we're going to be sitting somewhere in the 70s on Thursday of next week.
Cool. Well, let's go ahead and move into a period of reading some super chats.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna win. Just FYI.
Yeah, there you go.
We'll see.
About time.
I am I was gonna say I'm the lowest. So
yeah,
we got a long day today. We got one from Eric Liddell saying, "I've never seen an all-time high hit on a red daily candle. What's the TA Saurus Rex say about that?" I was looking at it. So Jebb, I'm gonna hear what you got to say, but
April 14th, we hit an all-time high.
I was going to say, when we were on the daily candle back here in April, we had a red candle. That was a red candle.
In fact, it was a spinning top, which is the same thing that we were talking about a second ago. We see a spinning top right now. So, to be honest with you, I don't put a lot of stock in what color the candlestick was when we hit all-time high. It doesn't really matter. Okay. To be honest with you, in my opinion.
Yeah. Well, so we have a lot of these. Let's do our best to answer them as well as possible, but at the same time as quickly as possible. Crypto Alchemist said, "From one veteran to all of my fellow vets out there, happy Veterans Day."
Happy Veterans Day,
Welcome
guys.
back, Jebb, and congrats on 200,000.
Well, thank you, guys. We're very appreciative for all of you guys who, one, served, but also, two, who have subscribed. So thank you guys so much. And by the way, hit that like button.
Even Aya the Beholder also donated and said, "Army vet here, happy Veterans Day." And yeah, we'll say it again and again. If you are a vet, thank you so much.
Thank you so very much.
Did they already put a 1 in chat if they're a veteran?
I didn't ask because I didn't know if that'd be appropriate, but we can. Yeah, drop a 1 in chat if you're a veteran.
And if they don't want to, don't feel any
drop a
pressure
1 in chat if you were a veteran so that we can give you guys some love. Thank you guys so very much for that.
Matt C said 200 subs. That's an amazing accomplishment. Congrats on the milestone. And to our vets, thank you so much for your service. We owe you everything.
Absolutely.
Rick4962 said, "Great job yesterday. Thanks to everyone for their hard work and dedication for us all. I missed the segment the other day. Smays Way."
Smays Way.
I don't know.
What happened yesterday?
The other day, Smays Way.
What happened yesterday while I was gone?
I didn't do anything.
I don't know. I think I may think about it. I don't know. But I'll leave it. I think I have an idea, but I don't. Yeah. Marlo Bowser just wanted to donate. So thank you so much, Marlo. HP219 from one Marine to the group. Happy Veterans Day. I love this country and will fight for each and every one of you. But I am eager for monetary policy change and growth. Love you all. Semper Fidelis.
I am. Semper Fidelis? Fidelis, that is the Marines. That is the Marines, right? Yes.
Yeah, he's a Marine.
Yes. Well, I'm looking forward to some monetary policy change also. We're going to be talking about inflation here in a little bit, and it is getting out of hand, I might say. But thank you very much for your service, my friend.
Another one here from Rich Coin saying, "I do like you guys. I watch you every morning. The biggest thing today, ? Dots auction. Big deal. You guys say nothing. Have a great day, though." So he wants us to do more dot today. We're not going to have time today, but Rich, we can
look at it tomorrow.
We can solidify right now. Kelly, we're doing dot tomorrow.
We're doing polka dot.
We are going to have
There's a lot of cool stuff happening. So.
Man, you like polka dot, right?
Dot.
Yeah.
Cool.
How many more can we do before
we can do a few more? We've still got several.
Anand said, "Holding $700 of Sandbox, Phantom, and Dogecoin, and Polygon Matic. Will any of these do 10x in 1 year from now?" Sandbox, Phantom, Dogecoin, and Polygon.
That's such a weird spread.
Yeah. I don't know the currency either. So
I really don't know, to be honest with you.
I don't know.
It's possible.
It's possible.
Anything's possible, guys.
Anything's possible.
But I don't. That's not encouragement.
Yeah, that's not me encouraging.
That's not encouraging.
That is a dodge, is what that is.
Yes.
That is a dodge.
Richard Cooper said, "Hi, love the CT2A. I've put, I think that's pounds, 1,000 pounds into IOTEX. I have 3x'd my money. Cash out not. I think he meant now. Cash out now or wait until the alt season is over. Big shout out from London. Richard, we can't give you financial advice on when, but Jebb, what would financial advice for thinking would you give?
I think that it's never a bad idea to cash out your principal. If you cash out your principal, let's say you invest $1,000, you're at $3,000 now. There is nothing wrong with taking out the $1,000 you put in originally and then playing with house money for the rest of it. I think that that is a great way to continue rolling your money and making more. It gives you the ability to move around a certain amount of principal from project to project to project to project to project, building your initial investment, building your total investment portfolio. So that's what I would say. Don't ever be afraid of selling at a profit.
Yeah. Eric Leon said TA on Chainlink.
TA on Chainlink. We could do some Chainlink tomorrow. We're not going to have time today, but obviously I love Chainlink because I just bought a bunch of it.
I say, didn't we do Chainlink TA the other day?
I think we did Chainlink on Tuesday.
And we did some we did some both short and long term. So if you want to go back and look at some of the long term stuff there.
No, but I love Chainlink. I just bought a bunch of Chainlink. I'm now officially a Link Marine, I suppose.
Deep Diver said, "Happy Veterans Day to all those who served, for those who couldn't." So yes, again, thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Moving on, we have a couple more here. Mark Pride said, "If I sell Bitcoin at the top and get back in during the dip, is holding it in USD wallet the safest place to hold?"
Well, the thing you got to be careful with is that the US dollar is losing a lot of its valuation right now.
Yeah.
Really, I mean, like I said, never be afraid of selling. Never be afraid of selling at a profit. That's really all I have to say on that, to be honest with you. It kind of is that simple. Do we have any more?
We do have more, but I'll read one more, and then we will go
jump
back and we'll read the rest at the end. Vular said, "ETH Bitcoin chart. What are your thoughts?" Oh, I look at it all the time, but I haven't looked at it.
Well, it's funny that you were saying that because our next segment is on Ethereum. So let's go ahead and take a look at Ethereum. We're going to talk about Ethereum here for a little bit. But first, we're actually going to talk about the open interest on Ethereum. Open interest in Ethereum futures has hit a record high. Ethereum and Bitcoin may sustain price momentum thanks to rising open interest in the futures market. Take a look at this. The amount of open interest over on Ethereum futures is absolutely ridiculous right now. And like we talked about with Kelly's Twitter a minute ago, open interest on Bitcoin is absolutely ridiculous right now. So the market is over-leveraged. We can say that with a decent amount of confidence. But as far as the price action of Ethereum is concerned, you can see that we are in a gigantic rising wedge within a gigantic rising wedge. And pretty much what that's telling us on Ethereum US dollars is that at some point it needs to have a correction. When is that going to be? It's been rallying for 2.5 months straight. The interesting thing is trying to figure out when it's going to have that correction because it has rallied 74%, $2,000 in 42 days, which, as we know, 42 is the answer to life, universe, and everything. We hit a new all-time high at 48.80. I told you guys that we will probably go to $5,000 before we have a major correction. We hit 4,900 yesterday. I do think that we're going to bounce from this uptrending level of support right here, and we probably are going to rally all the way up to 5K. Before we have a major drop, but I do think that a pretty big drop is in the cards for Ethereum, and if we do have a pretty big drop, it's probably going to be back down to our previous level of previous all-time high, which is $4,400. In fact, I would very much like to see Ethereum come and backtest 4,400, and frankly, I would not be opposed to it backtesting 4,000, which was a local high back over here on September the 2nd either. I think that it would actually be very bullish for Ethereum if we did have that happen. But looking at the technicals, we can see, based on Lux Algo, that we're still very bullish. We have not seen the trend catcher change color. If the trend catcher does change color, that's going to be a very strong sign to us that we need to have a correction. That has not happened yet. Trend catcher on Lux Algo for Ethereum is still quite bullish. And even looking down here at our Lux Oscillator Premium, we can see that there has been a red dot, but to be honest with you, that's kind of what you expect to happen when there has been this massive long-term uptrend. I wouldn't put too much stock in Lux Oscillator on the daily chart for Ethereum right now. I'm not getting a great signal out of it at the moment. But even just looking at some of our other oscillators, you can see that the MACD is rounding out here. Looks like we're about to have another a bearish cross for the first time in a while. Just keep in mind, the last time we saw a bearish cross on Ethereum was a full 2.5 months ago. It was back over here, and it did predict the downtrend. It started when we had that giant crash the day that El Salvador adopted Bitcoin, and there was a bunch of manipulation in the market, and we're probably about to see another bearish cross here pretty soon. I personally think that this uptrend on Ethereum is losing steam. I don't like to say that because I'm biased in the other direction. I hold a ton of Ethereum, and I want it to do very well, but I simply cannot live with myself if I were to tell you guys something that I don't actually see. And what I see is that this market is overextended and it needs a correction. Bitcoin, I think, is only needing about a day of correction. That's probably going to bounce and run. I think Ethereum is going to take a little bit more time than that. Why? Because I think Ethereum's chart is actually about 3 weeks behind Bitcoin. Here's my theory. We saw Bitcoin have this nice, long, sustained rally, and then it hit an all-time high, and then it had a big correction, and it traded sideways for 3 weeks. I think that Bitcoin is where Ethereum is going to be in a month. I think that Ethereum, its top right here, is analogous to this top right over here on Bitcoin. We've seen Ethereum top out a month after Bitcoin so many times. If you just look back in the history, you're going to find a plethora of examples, but I'll give you just one. January 13th, 2018, Ethereum hit a previous all-time high of $1,400. I remember that. It was really exciting, but that was a full month after Bitcoin hit its all-time high on December 17th, 2017. Ethereum has a tendency of taking a back seat and going into a big rally, but only after Bitcoin. It normally follows in the footsteps of Bitcoin, not the other way around. Bitcoin is top dog, and Ethereum knows that. Ethereum is worth $500 billion now, and that's great, but it still is worth less than half of what Bitcoin is. I think that Bitcoin is going to bounce relatively soon, go into a big uptrend. That's going to scare the people that are in Ethereum, and we're going to see an Ethereum drop happen, and we're probably going to pull back down to between 4,000 and 4,400. That is my take on the daily chart. We even see that the volume has been kind of holding steady, but it's not really looking great, especially the last week. We've seen a lot of very low candlesticks, just barely made up for the fact by the fact that there was a decently large one recently. But we can even look here at Lux Algo. We saw a 9 flash, not Lux Algo, I'm sorry, TD Sequential. We saw a 9 flash, didn't really do a whole lot. We didn't have our correction. You can see we're riding the upside, the top side of the Bollinger Bands for a long period of time. I'm not very excited about where Ethereum is right now. I think it's going to have a correction, probably down to between 4,000 and 4,400, and then it's going to bounce, and then it's going to rally, and it's going to follow through with this massive ascending wedge that we can ascending wedge that we can see right here, which, by the way, is a price target of like $7,000. And I do think that we're going to see a $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 Ethereum by the end of the year. I just think that it needs a period of a week or two to go into a correction. That correction may not start for a week, but once it does, I think it'll take a week, two, maybe 2.5. And then it'll bounce, and then December will be a very bullish month, and you'll get a nice Christmas present in a $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 Ethereum. I want to hear your thoughts on that, Tim. Do you agree with me? Do you think Ethereum's overdue for a correction?
It is going to correct. But what I'm looking at, okay, I want to start with the ETH over Bitcoin chart. We just broke bearish a couple days ago, so we back on the... Let's call it the 6th of November. We broke bearish out of an ascending wedge, ETH over Bitcoin. But we are now starting to regain. We're starting to bounce back up. It looks like we found that bottom at 0.07007. Not that that's really that significant. So I like where Ethereum over Bitcoin is, because if you even zoom out even further, go to the weekly chart, we are in a massive...
I'm showing it on my screen.
Bull pennant. We are in a massive symmetrical triangle pattern that we broke bullish into, and eventually we'll break out, whether we break it here soon or whether we come down one more time. But long term, I really love, and I don't think there's any surprise to people that at this point, for a little while, Ethereum's going to outperform Bitcoin over, when we're looking at that weekly chart, that monthly chart, and that's completely okay. There will come a time where Bitcoin will come again. But even when I then go to the Ethereum over USD chart, it's a similar thing with what's happening with Bitcoin, in the sense of, I think we're going to break bearish here soon-ish. Well, actually, I'll go to the daily chart real quick. Bearish out of an ascending wedge here soon-ish. But even that, when we break out of it, we're going to come back down to a level of support that's rising. Like, I almost think when we break bearish out of that, we'll move sideways, hit another level of support, and keep going up.
Yeah.
As of right now, I want to start by saying I love both Ethereum and Bitcoin, and that is why I'm invested in both of them. But I'm not going to be surprised if here, when we look back a couple months from now, we're going to say, wow, yeah, look, Ethereum outperformed Bitcoin.
No, I agree. I actually agree with you.
Well.
I think Ethereum will outperform Bitcoin. I just don't think it's going to outperform Bitcoin in the next 3 weeks. I think it's going to have a drop first, and then it's going to continue rallying.
3 weeks? I would say a week. I would say next week, Ethereum is not going to outperform Bitcoin.
Well, that's what I'm saying. The next, the next 7 days is probably going to do pretty well.
Yeah.
After that 7-day period is up, it's probably going to have about a 2-week period of bearishness. And then it's probably going to bounce and rally and start outperforming Bitcoin. We shall see. We shall see. I'd love to hear your opinions on that in the comment section down below. Now, let's go ahead and move on here to a couple of news stories. The first one has to do with Evergrande. You guys drop a 1 in chat if you were tired of hearing about Evergrande. The reason it's important is because no matter what you hear, it's not another Lehman Brothers necessarily, but it is a pretty big deal when it comes to global markets because the Chinese housing market is massively overleveraged. And for any of you guys who are older than me, you will remember what happens when a global superpower gets overleveraged in a housing market because you probably lived through it. Well, you definitely lived through, if you're watching this, the 2008 financial crisis had huge implications on my childhood. Definitely was a very hard time for a lot of people. I was 8 years old when it happened, and even I noticed the implications. I'm not necessarily saying the same thing's going to happen here, but I am telling you, based on all the money printing that we're doing right now, and based on the over-leverage that the Chinese have on their own economy, with all of these cities full of literally millions of homes that are sitting completely empty. If you didn't know this, there are entire cities in China that could house 3 million people. And there's like 20,000 people that live there. They're ghost cities, and it is a symptom of a massively over-leveraged housing market, and Evergrande is just the icing on the cake that the media likes to talk about, but there's a massive cake down there that is not good. Did conflicting reports about Evergrande default cause Bitcoin to tank? Yesterday, there were several different reports that came out that Evergrande had missed a payment on an outstanding debt, which, as you guys know, there's $300 billion worth of money that they owe right now. And there was so as far as I can tell, the chain of events was as follows. A media outlet, Morning Brew, reported about let's start up here. It was, where did this start? Start right here. Conflicting news about Evergrande Group is 2 minutes after Evergrande's payment was due. The Deutsche Markt Screening Agentur issued an announcement on Wednesday at 4 p.m. Universal Time code stating that it was preparing bankruptcy proceedings against Evergrande. 2 hours later, around 6 p.m. UTC, Bitcoin began its hours-long pullback to $62,800. Media outlet Morning Brew reported about 45 minutes later that Evergrande had missed a payment on its outstanding debt, which was due on Wednesday at 4 p.m. UTC and had defaulted. Another 45 minutes passed before Bloomberg issued a story saying that it hadn't. So here's what happened. We don't know what happened, because there is a bunch of conflicting information. We have no idea. And part of the reason for that is because China is very secretive around these things, because they don't want the world thinking that China is about to go through a giant financial crisis, because they want to retain their power on the world stage. That's why they're protecting this. That's why they're trying to keep things under wrap. Evergrande has not officially defaulted on any of its offshore debt obligations in the international U.S. bond market. But considering what's going on there, and I don't have time to go into the entire story, you guys have probably heard a lot about it by now, this is a problem. And the reason that this is a problem is because we have seen all kinds of things build our economy into a giant house of cards. And the Chinese housing market is a good example of that. If you don't know, China makes up nearly a quarter of world GDP. So if something happens to China, it's going to take down the rest of us with it. And that leads me into my second story, which has to do with U.S. inflation, because this is a problem as well. U.S. inflation is up to 6.2% annualized, according to the Consumer Price Index, which, if you haven't heard me talk about before, the Consumer Price Index, the CPI, is a complete freaking scam and a joke, and it is a way for the U.S. government to lie to you about what inflation is really doing. But if the CPI has jumped up to 6.2%, and that's what they're officially saying is true, that is bad, because that means inflation is actually a lot higher than that. U.S. inflation increased by 6.2% since last year. This is a sober, this will haunt you, the sentence I'm about to read. At this rate, the U.S. dollar will lose half of its valuation within the decade. That should freak you out. That should terrify you. And by the way, that should embolden anybody who's in cryptocurrency. That's why much more of my net worth is held in Bitcoin, just in Bitcoin, not even in the rest of my crypto portfolio, but just in Bitcoin, than I have in US dollars. We have cash accounts. We have all kinds of cash. It's really important. We got to run a business. You know, you need operating income and net income and everything. We hold a lot more Bitcoin than we do US dollars because I don't trust the US dollar. We have seen it be hyperinflated over the last 100 years. People talk about hyperinflation. Hell, hyperinflation's already happened. It's lost 99% of its value in 100 years. If that's not hyperinflation, I don't know what is. it could lose half of its value again in the next 10 years. Bitcoin and Ethereum are seen as a hedge against said inflation. On a monthly basis, the consumer price index soared 0.9% in October, and it's also projected to keep going upward through November and December. If this inflation rate remains steady for the next 10 years, the US dollar could lose half of its value. You can see on the chart right here, inflation at 6.2% means that if we steadily increase, if we keep steady for 10 years, your $100,000 will become $54,800 by then. Compounding is a powerful force. Satoshi's having popcorn somewhere right now. Hashtag Bitcoin. He's absolutely right. How does inflation impact the crypto industry? I'm not even going to read all this because it's very simple. Bitcoin was designed to be an inflation hedge. Let me break this down. This is if you're in 11th grade English and they're asking you about a topic sentence, what's your topic sentence for Bitcoin? Bitcoin is as follows. This is after 5 years of me trying to explain Bitcoin to people. This is the best way I found to explain to it. Bitcoin is the first digitally verifiably scarce resource in human history. Why is that important? Because you get all the benefits of the internet while also getting all the benefits of the scarce nature of gold. Without Bitcoin, without blockchain being created, there was no such thing as digital scarcity online. You couldn't have a scarce resource. Software only had value because of copyright laws and all these artificially instituted things that allow for a faux scarcity. Scarcity did not exist before Bitcoin. Bitcoin has scarcity, and therefore it has value. It's very simple. This inflation is scary. Tim, why should people care about inflation, especially inflation this high?
Do you like money? I do. I have to use it on the daily basis. I have a wife that likes it a lot.
That's true.
She really loves it leaving. Oh, no, she's awesome. I don't want to throw Taylor under the bus.
She loves spending
She
it.
does love to spend it. Which makes sense. It's losing value every day, so go ahead and use it right now.
Why not get rid of it?
But yeah, no. If you like having
Do you like money?
security and money in the bank, you should care.
Let's go ahead and read some super chats.
Yes, we should. And I'm going to announce. Hopefully, I get confirmation back from Shannon here soon about the giveaway we're doing here at the end of the show. It won't be announced who wins it, but we're going to tell you how you can enter. Vular, let's see here. I think we read this one. ETH over Bitcoin chart. What are your thoughts? Or somebody else asked it, I think. So as a whole right now, we were in bearish. I'm going to give a quick answer. Bearish for Ethereum over Bitcoin here for a little bit. We broke bearish, and now I think it's turning back around. We're bouncing off the 20 daily SMA. I think we're about to see Ethereum have a decent little run on Bitcoin. Alessandro the Cynical said, late to the stream, but I just wanted to say, FUD from China, is that Tuesday already?
What? What did he say?
FUD from China, is it Tuesday already?
Is it Tuesday already? Oh my gosh.
Screwhead said, don't have anything smart to say. LOL. Thank you, Jebb, Tim, and Smay for everything y'all do. Love being here, learning, and making money. Bunch of rocket ships.
Let's make some money. Let's do it.
Rick 4962, and I think he's given a couple times now. I finally finished cutting your grass, so I get to watch a little today. Do better next time, boss.
Thank you very much, Rick 4962. Appreciate that, man. That's awesome.
Evan Krause said, Jim question. Have you guys read the book Starting Strength by Mark Ripto? I don't know if I've read that book. I definitely know who Mark Ripto is.
His last name is Ripto? Mm-hmm. That dude has ripped in his name. I'm going to listen to whatever he says.
Highly recommend for weight training beginners. Their YouTube channel is great value as well. Yeah. No, I've definitely heard of him. Never read that book, but definitely heard of him.
Interesting.
Below, I think.
Below.
DXY chart from yesterday at the time of the dip is in an inverse correlation with Bitcoin to the minute.
Really? That makes sense. Let me bring up DXY. DXY is talking about the U.S. dollar currency index. DXY has been increasing, funnily enough. God, these markets are so manipulated. I'm not even going to get into it right now.
Yeah.
I'm not even going to go there. Not even going to go there. Keep my blood pressure low.
Last couple we're going to read here. Rick 4962 gave again, saying he gave $100, saying great channel.
Thank you, man.
Let's go to 1 million subs.
Woo! Yes, let's do that. Let's do 1 million subs.
Let's try to get to 1 million subs by this time next year.
That's the goal. We want to be at 1 million subs by this time next year, guys.
Chad Rippey said, signed up for Luxalgo. Love you guys and all you do. Thank you and God bless.
Yeah, guys, if you want to get Luxalgo, if you found it helpful during today's stream, make sure to sign up with the link below. You can use coupon code Jebb, J-E-B-B, for 20% off at checkout.
All right, last two, and I'm probably not going to be able to read any more after that because we do have to close out the stream. But this is a fun one. Edgardo Bauzo. That's probably not correct. Blessings, brothers. Thoughts on Seishima. Hidden gem. It will be top 50 token when CoinMarketCap finishes verifying market cap. Big things coming. Yeah.
Never heard of it.
Is
in
it
my
is it
entire life.
Saitama?
Is it Saitama?
Saitama. What did I say?
That's what it
How's it spelled?
Saitama.
Oh, it's Saitama.
Yeah,
that's
he
one
said
of the,
it all silly goose.
That's one of the meme coins that got rebranded.
I don't
isn't
know
it?
it. I don't know what it is. So
I'm pretty sure that's one of the meme coins that got rebranded. Can you guys tell us in chat if you know anything about Saitama? I know people that have invested. T-Shroom, don't you have some Saitama or something? Have you talked about that? Do you know anything about it?
I don't. Yeah.
No.
Saitama, you knew. All right, well.
All right. We have two from Corey Mo, so I'll read both of them. The first one, or the second one, he said was thank you for the content and perspective. We appreciate it. His other thing was Litecoin to $400. What do you think?
Look, it might. And the reason it might is because whenever people buy into cryptocurrency, they naturally are going to buy into a bunch of different things. I don't think Litecoin is a good investment, but even so, a not good investment can still double because this is cryptocurrency. What you have to keep in mind is will Litecoin keep up with Bitcoin? I don't think so. Will Litecoin keep up with Ethereum? I don't think so. It might go up, but do not forget the principle of opportunity cost. You do not want to do that because the last thing you want to do is be super involved in one project and you're like, oh, it doubled. Well, it could have gone up 1,000% in this other project. So just keep in mind opportunity cost. Just because something goes up does not mean it's where you should have your money, in my humble opinion. Tim, are there any further?
We are going to announce how people will be entered
for
the giveaway.
Let's hear it.
So, guys, this is, he never takes me back, so I am taking executive decision matter on this. There's going to be some details to this, so make sure you pay attention and make sure you know exactly what you need to do to enter to win, and we will announce these winners tomorrow. So, first, we are going to do 2 of these winners are going to be free. We are going to give them CT2A for free.
Woo!
2. So 2. We're giving away 2 CT2A.
And that's not it. There's more.
Oh.
10
here.
10 entries, 10 winners will get it for $200, which is on $199 off.
That's a
so
steal.
there are 12 of you. 12 of you are going to win something. We wanted to go big. We want to, you guys have been an amazing community.
That's amazing.
You guys are growing
I love
us.
that.
We are growing right now on Twitter. Jeb, what are our numbers on Twitter right now?
Our Twitter's ridiculous. We're getting like 800 followers a day on Twitter.
Yes.
I'm posting like over 10 times a day on Twitter. So you definitely need to follow us on Twitter.
Yes, so this is what we are going to do. What you're going to do to enter to win this is you are going to share this YouTube video, this stream on Twitter, tagging CryptoJebb, hit follow. That's all you got to do. So if you don't have Twitter, I'm sorry. We'll have another giveaway for you in the future. But for this one, go to Twitter. If you need to, go create an account. Share this video. Follow at CryptoJebb, right? That's it.
Yep, at
Follow at
CryptoJebb.
CryptoJebb. Share it. Tag him. And tomorrow morning, I will announce the 12 winners. 2 for free. 10 for
We're going to announce it tomorrow, that early?
Yeah.
Okay.
This is quick.
Wow.
Boom, boom. We want to thank you.
boom.
And guys,
Wow.
this isn't the end. Like, stay tuned with the channel. There's going to be other things happening over the next couple of days because we are just super excited about 200,000 and where we're going. We want to grow
some
here,
really cool stuff.
grow on TikTok, grow on Twitter.
I'm actually recording a 200K video of sorts. There's something special that I'm recording as soon as this is over. I can't tell you what it is, but it'll be coming out soon. It's going to be really cool.
Wow.
Greg said, can I enter? Geez, Greg, you already have CT2A.
Yeah,
Greg is our sales guy. He has CT2A because he sells it. Guys, if you enjoyed today's show, hit that like button. We got 4,000 people watching, only 1,800 likes. I know we can get higher than that. And make sure to subscribe to our channel and follow us on Twitter at CryptoJebb. And make sure that you do everything that Tim just said so that you can enter to win CT2A. I don't remember. When was the last time you were able to get CT2A for $200? That was like,
I mean, that would be a
time
question
ago.
only you could answer because I think ever since you had a team.
I don't think ever since I've had a team, it's been 200. I think that's the cheapest that you've been able to get it for a long time. It's worth every freaking penny. We've had 5,000 people go through it. Smay, you had something to say?
Yeah, I was just going to say, speaking of Twitter, guys, me and Tim also have a Twitter, so make sure you guys follow that. I'm almost at 500 followers, guys, so let's get that going, guys. Let's get that going.
Yeah, I just want to be clear. To be fair, please follow us. That's awesome. That is not part of the entry.
No, that's not a part of the
entry. We won't hold it
entry.
against you if you don't.
Yes.
But you do have to follow.
That's optional.
I'm going to go through and verify. They follow CryptoJebb and they shared the video.
My Twitter
to get
is
my 12
exploding
winners.
right now. Look, just jump to my screen really quickly. Let me show you my Twitter. Just in my notifications. This is insane. Look at how many people are tweeting at us. This is nuts. Shout out to Pam Renard and Peninsulas and the Club NFT Sniper and Chris Godbolt and everybody who is doing that, guys. Make sure that you retweet all of those and enter to win CT2A.
Last thing I'll say is if there's any confusion, guys, because I think I've said it a couple times on how to enter, but if you are still like, I don't know, what am I supposed to do? Email our support team. Taylor will be more than happy to help you. She's listening right now, so she knows the details. If you have any questions whatsoever, email her. She is awesome. But that's all I got, Jebb. That's all we got for the show.
There you go. Well, guys, that's all we got for you. Before we go, I do just first want to thank each and every single last one of you for watching, as always. And I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.
Oh, I got a real good feeling.